Hello, hello, and welcome. I am Dr. Jessica Bueller. I'm a chiropractor, and I have been partnered with a company called LifeVantage, the activation company, for 8 years. And I've been on the scientific advisory board for 2 years. And I could not be more excited to welcome you here tonight to hear this information and to hear it from our special guest speaker, Dr. Cece. And this is something that has transformed not only our health, but also our wealth and our lives and the lives of many people that we have been able to impact as well. So, hopefully, before you leave here tonight, you're going to understand the concept of activation and what that might provide or be for you. And you'll just have this idea of something like there might be something if you're looking for something more in life, maybe this is that thing that you've been looking for. When it was introduced to me, I did not know it was the thing I was looking for, but I had prayed for a better way to do life, to be a more present mom when I was with my kids, to be a more present doctor when I was with my patients, and to just be a different wife than I was at the current time. I had a waiting list practice. And what was left of me was kind of what my family got of me. And I was praying for something like a better way to do life, to show up as a better version of me. In the meantime, my hair was falling out, even though I didn't think anybody from the outside could really tell, and my labs were normal. And I was always tired. I would wake up just feeling tired, and that tiredness would kind of drag throughout my day. And it had rashes on my neck and my arm. I had acne that I didn't have as a teenager, and all of that completely changed when I started activating my cells. I went from taking thousands of dollars of supplements sold only to physicians to taking a select number of products to activate my cells from a cellular level. So with that, I just am really blessed for you all to be here and to get to hear about this from Dr. Cece. So here we go. Take it away, Doc.
So most of us kind of live through life thinking, why this, why that? Always looking for a why, always looking for an answer. And I think that that was some reason that led me into this company and led me to learn and to desire more to learn about activation because of the fact that I knew that there was more, just like Dr. Jess said. I knew there was something that I didn't know that I needed, but I knew that I needed something because I did feel out of balance. Even with everyone saying, oh, about like some guru would say, oh, you got to do more of this or more of that, or you got to try this diet or that diet. And the reality is that all of these everyday occurrences, all of these everyday stresses, they add up. And they all add up to basically a basic type of stress that we call oxidative stress that happens inside of our cells. And so when we look at, how this affects our body, it affects our body everywhere because that, just like when we have stress, we feel it everywhere in our body. We don't just say, oh, yeah, I don't feel hungry when the lion's running after me. The nervous system's taken over and said, you're not hungry, run away from the tiger. The blood is moving somewhere else. And so that's the same thing that happens when we have things from the environment and from mental health stress that our body will respond to. So, basically all of these biological systems work in that same way and they work less efficiently. It's harder to recover. We have listed here, we've got brain cognition, muscles and movement, energy, and cellular repair. So all of these things are going to be affected by these type of stress called oxidative stress. So we're going to have gradual shifts in how the body responds. And so, yeah, so LifeVantage really is the answer to that oxidative stress. That's the exciting news and the exciting part because we have something that combats that oxidative stress. And I will say, this is really I think how Dr. Jess really connected with me was at the time that I had learned about activation. I had been learning and knowing about oxidative stress and mitochondria and all the different cellular functions. And I kept coming up with oxidative stress. And I kept thinking, okay, well, how does one take all of these different supplements and all of these different things to allow our body to have more of the antioxidants, more protein through our diet, more enzymes? How do we do that? There's got to be a better way. And what's so amazing is that Life Advantage found a way to activate this very special pathway that allows our body to make antioxidants. It allows our bodies to detox that cellular detox pathway, and it allows our cells to communicate better. And so that overall will help every single process throughout our body. And so this is basically the product that started it all is Protandim NRF2. There was this wonderful, maybe some of you remember from the 90s, there was a man named John Kionis, and he did an ABC primetime video where and he used to do all of these, right, Dr. Jess, where he would go out and he would do snidbits on different health topics and he would want to debunk them. Well, he got a hold of our research about the 40% of oxidation reduction in 30 days. And he said, well, wait a second, I want to disprove these people because I don't believe this. And so what he did was he went and they videoed him, and it shows it in this video. And he ends up getting about a 46% reduction in 2 weeks. And he did not debunk it, but he actually proved that what we have is a new type of technology that my alma mater actually says is the most, what is it, inventive thing in medicine that we have seen up to now. And I think it is absolutely amazing because what we are doing is we're turning on God's pharmacy. We're taking turmeric, green tea, bacopa, milk thistle, ashwagandha. We're taking all five of these and they've synergized it into this very direct way to allow your body to make more antioxidants. Now, when we look at this beautiful slide that we have here, what that means, if I were to take what we call exogenous or outside in the world vitamin C, if I were to take that or glutathione or something that's an antioxidant putting in my body, I'm only going to get that at a 1-to-1 ratio. So I take one of it, it goes in. If I'm lucky, I absorb it. I get one of them. If we take one of our nerve 2 synergizers, if we take one of those, we get 1 million antioxidants made. And I don't know about you, but I like those odds a lot more than I do 1-to-1. That's a pretty powerful punch, if we say. So what is oxidative stress? What is that? What does that even mean? I think of it as kind of the rusting we see on cars, the rusting we see on bikes. That's aging. That's aging at its finest, at its cellular level. Antioxidants, they fight this rusting that happens in our body. And so when we activate, we produce more of these antioxidants with Protandim. And now what's even more amazing, and I know Dr. Jess and I both get really nerdy about this subject, but we have over 30 peer-reviewed and 7 research papers with this product, and we have 7 US patents. And to me, I get really excited because in order to have one US patent, you must do one unique thing. And we have 7 with just this one product. So for me, that just blows my mind all to pieces. So what's even more powerful about this is if I were to say, you know what, this is cool, you guys have something, I'm going to go take all these things on my own and I'm going to try, because I know me and Dr. Jess have both done this because, we like to prove ourselves right a lot. So we're proven wrong when we realize we cannot do that because we have this amazing ability to synergize them. So we have found that Protandim works 18 times more effectively together than it does if we were to separate each of those different parts, which is absolutely amazing. This slide right here gives you a really big, beautiful picture of all of the research that we do have, the universities, the 20 peer-reviewed journal publications that this product has been, thanks to that ABC video primetime, has been a part of, which is absolutely extraordinary. This right here, this is coming straight from my alma mater, that this may well become the most extraordinary therapeutic and most extraordinary preventative breakthrough in history of medicine. In the history of medicine. So I think that is super, super amazing. This slide right here, Dr. Jess, I'm gonna have you take over this slide right here and go on about this study just because I have to get a battery plug in because I'm
Yes,
gonna die in a minute and I just feel it.
of
So
course.
I'm gonna let you talk a little bit about the MS study a little bit.
Yes. So this is one that both Cece and I were super excited about as chiropractors because we work with the nervous system every single day. And everyone has a brain and a spinal cord. And so MS journal, a drug company called Tecfidera, this Biogen decided to study their drug Tecfidera in comparison to our Protandim NRF2. Their toxic drug includes side effects that include death, and it costs $52,000 for a 3 month supply. Our Protandim NRF2 costs less than 100, it costs around $150 for a 3 month supply. And what they found, get this, you guys, no drug company ever does a study and finds a natural product better, right? But they said, interestingly, Protandim, consisting of herbal ingredients, is the most potent inducer and therefore may be the most therapeutic strategy. Can you believe that? And this is for MS. This is like the worst of the worst things when it comes to your brain and spinal cord. So imagine that's because our brain and spinal cord are super sensitive to oxidative stress. It's 4 times more likely to be harmful in your brain and spinal cord than other places in the body. So this is a really powerful study. You back?
Uh, Yep.
Okay.
And then, yep, I was like, and then this study is obviously from OSU, from Oregon State, and they found that NRF2 essentially they say goes back to the nucleus. It rings the alarm bell where it can turn on up to 200 genes that are responsible for cell repair, detoxification, carcinogens. Hello, the world we live in, protein and lipid metabolism. So really what that is saying is the scientists are calling it a longevity assurance factor. So this study right here is showing us that not only can we turn on these 200 genes and proving that we can, they're showing that this is going to help with longevity, which I think is so powerful because most of us are trying to live longer. I think that's kind of the goal. My goal in my life truly is to meet my great grandbabies, and I kind of started having kids later. So I really need something powerful to help me make that goal a reality. This slide right here is giving us one of my favorites. And I know Dr. Jess, we call this as chiropractors, we call this the chiropractor's BFF. And the reason why we do is because we work with the joints and we work with the brain. And yes, the skin is very important. And most people think of collagen and they think skin. I think even glow, we think that. But I think we glow from the inside out. And the other place where we have a lot of collagen is in our joints. And for me personally, this is where being an athlete and having injuries such as reconstructive knee surgery, this was something that really was powerful tool in my tool belt to combat pain, to combat stress, and to really get rid of ice baths. Because I don't know about y'all, but those are kind of painful and uncomfortable. But it turns out that when we have the combination of these two, we are affecting the nervous system in the same manner as we would by taking an ice bath. So the other main reason that I love, love, love this collagen is most collagens don't have it in a readily available form like this, but they also don't have 10 different collagen peptides. And when we have the two of them together, the protanum and the collagen, we can cut the stress cycle by 1/3. And I don't know about you out there, but I'm sure you all have stress. And I think some of us some days would do anything to even cut it by a 16th of a factor. So to know that we can do it by almost a half, by a third, that's pretty incredible. When we think of how quite easy it is to take a 1.7 fluid ounces and a one pill every single day to make changes in our body. So, and the other good thing that I know Dr. Jess and I both get so excited about is our 8-week trial that we had on this collagen. The 8-week trial actually showed that we doubled our collagen in density. So not only are we having really strong joints, really strong density, we're actually proving that with our research, which I think is just phenomenal. Because most people want you to take a nice, lovely powder form of collagen, or I think the big thing now is take this animal-based protein or take or collagen and take this, but a lot of it isn't a readily available form. And what I think is so amazing is not only do we have those 10, but we have one, and this is why it's so special to me, is one of those 10 forms fights cancer. And I don't know about you, but I know a handful of people who are doing just that right now. And if we can give them one tool to use while they're combating this, or one tool for ourselves to avoid that type of condition, I'm here for that for sure. And I think that's a good thing. So this was the results of showing the regulating the components of our master switch when we have that nerve 2 and the collagen. So basically, this is just showing that percentage change in gene expression. So how we talked about how our genes expressing and turning on those genes. And doing 200 of them. This is kind of showing how those specific types of genes with the collagen and the nerve 2 can do that even at a greater rate. This one is showing the signaling that perpetuates the stress response. So this was the actual results of them showing each of those different inflammatory markers, inflammatory proteins that we're actually able to address with this combination. Here's some wonderful results of real people that we know, and we can look at their changes before and after collagen. It's very, I think, dramatic in a lot of people. I think you see the changes in the tone, the color. And this is probably one of our other favorite doctors that we know of chiropractic. This is a man who had chiropractic, gosh, Dr. Jess, would you say 30 years before,
Yeah.
25 years or so,
Yeah.
before he ever had the nerve 2 or the chiropractic BFF, the nerve 2 and the collagen together? Um, his spine on the right side, as you can see, it looks kind of gray. I noticed that, but you can see all these really big spikies, and you can tell that there's not a lot of space between the two bones. And what's so beautiful is when you look at the really bright image on the left-hand side, you can see, and obviously we put a little picture for you to see, we increased their joint space. So that goes back to that 8-week trial of increasing our density of collagen, which is so amazing. But we can actually visually see this in an x-ray now from someone who probably would be told by a medical doctor that they can't increase their density at all. So the main reason why we want to do any of this and why we're even talking about it, obviously, because we want to get to the root of issues. Because what we say is that when we have healthy cells, we have healthy tissues. We have healthy tissues, we make healthy organs. When we make healthy organs, we get healthy organ systems. And guess what? That gives us the result of a healthy body. So, one of the biggest innovations that really this industry has given us is cutting edge innovation. So when it comes to, most of us probably know somebody that's trying to get us to try something or try something, taste something. There's so much stuff out there, but we have something that's cutting edge, that we have something that's innovative with Protandim Nerve 2. Well, gut health is kind of our next route of where we see health really rapidly growing. I know in my practice, I see it every day with infants and moms and babies, constantly having different types of problems like ear infection and having our gut be microbiome being shifted off. And so, we see that a lot more being more aware. And we say, and at least the research is now showing us that it's a $14.4 billion today, but they say by 2035, we're going to be at $32.4 billion. And that's insane to think about. I mean, that's about more than double that amount in just 10 years. So I think knowing that the fastest areas of growth for that is North America, Asian Pacific and Europe. It's emerging science. But really, we're adding this activation as this next step, and it is just unstoppable, y'all. It really is a trend, and it's a business that it will last because health is always going to be a trend. I think most people are always looking for that next thing to help them in their health journey. But when we look at what's coming and where we are and where we're going, gut health is that main thing we're talking about. We're really talking about that gut and the gut brain axis. So one of the biggest things is, I'm sure all of us feel this way too, is okay, well, good. Well, so we have gut dysbiosis, or we have this problem. We can identify things, but then the answer is always, well, what do we do about it? And what's so amazing is LifeVantage have given us amazing tools and amazing things to give answers to those exact problems. So in walks our beautiful new Love Biome P84. And when we combine that with our Nerve 2 Synergizer, we get this, the protanum, we get this amazing combination. Not only are we working on, we're working the defense by working on those antioxidants and having our body make more at 1,000,000 to 1, right? Rate, we're making more of those antioxidants. We also have our offense. We need some good bugs in there. And my thing is, for years, y'all, I have been trying to get people to be on a probiotic, be on a prebiotic, be on a postbiotic. Oh, you need to make sure you're eating all these different phytonutrients that you need every day. We know, dope, 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 dope. And then patients are always coming back just feeling like failures. I know I felt that way as a patient for a long time. Like, well, I took the probiotics, but I forgot this and I couldn't get to this. And what's so beautiful is that Love Biome came up with a way to put every single one of those combinations together. So we have one product that not only takes a prebiotic, a probiotic, a postbiotic, and 84 phytonutrients, they put them in one drink. And so you're able to take that on. So basically, what you're doing is you're firing up that second brain. You're introducing key peptides, you're repairing, you're restoring, you're basically breaking your gut out of that cycle and you're restoring things in a natural way. And it is just such an amazing way to fight that way. So we call this combination, we call it Healthy Edge Stack. So not only, like I said, we're getting those antioxidants, we're getting those gut peptides. That is how we are working together to fight this and to combat this gut problem that we have going on. Now here's one of absolutely, if you're dragon, I say this is it. This is you need this guy. One of my favorite things I think Dr. Jess always says, when you take this, it's like throwing a dart at a bullseye and hitting it every single time. And I will say, I only wish that I had this product while I was in chiropractic school, because I think I would have done a whole lot better at focusing. Because what we're doing with this is we're getting to the energy production, but we're also getting to our brain communication, which, as we all know, if you're a mom and you're trying to have a conversation, the second you pick up a phone and your children are in the room, they're going to get louder, and then they're going to get louder, and pretty soon, if you're talking to someone who also has kids in the room, it's going to get louder on their end too. And this is my favorite analogy when I think about how oxidative stress, or how our body generally starts to miscommunicate, is that we get these loud going ons, so the body starts shutting doors and it says, ah, too loud, too loud, too loud, too loud. I just need to communicate right here. And this is what happens in our brain. Our brain starts going, I think I got the message. Okay, here you go. And what we want to do is we want to say, hey, get the message, get the message. And so Axio is like opening up all those doors and allowing free communication to flow again. So really we're getting that clarity and that focus. And now working with kids, I absolutely love doing this as a provider, but this right here is a great example of someone Dr. Jess knows, one of her patients, where they were really struggling with dysgraphia, and with all of their different kinds of spelling. And so this is a spelling test you see. You can tell a mass difference between the chaos on the left and the really beautiful organization that we're seeing on the right-hand side. That was 15 minutes difference of taking Axio. Super great. So what we're doing is we're activating. We have, this is kind of how, if we were Amazon and we were to say, hey, this is the next thing, you might like this, you might like this. This slide is to let you know that we have all sorts of different products that are going to use activation at its root and use natural ingredients to help your body help itself. So, different systems, cells, systems are, we've got our brain, gut tissues, immune system, our skin and hair. We have all of these different tools to help with all of these different systems. And then the other thing to remember is that every body is different. So obviously, we all can understand that we are as unique as our own unique fingerprint. So when we take these, we look for everyone's positive, different results. We look for, I might have two patients with MS, and we talked about that MS study, and I might have one that's like in a week of taking Protanum, they're like, wow, what did you give me? This is so amazing. I am clear and I'm sleeping. I might have another patient with MS, same scenario, and maybe in a month I might hear from them. I have been sleeping a lot better the last 2 weeks. And you go, wow, that's amazing. Two different bodies, two different systems. They're going to maybe the same problem, but they're going to react differently.
So this is where I get to talk to you guys a little bit more about this too. And because there is more to this, there's actually, as you can see, a story to be told with these products. Before you came here tonight, you probably had yet to even hear of the word activation, right? I had only heard of activating in regards to my bank card, right? Before LifeVantage. And now I can see this entirely new way to really get to the root of issues, to get back to the health of my cells, and to really have confidence in sharing that with other people. And one of our studies, when Dr. Cece was talking earlier, one of our studies showed we had a p value of 0.0001, meaning that if 10,000 people took our Protandim NRF2, 9,999 would get the anticipated result. And that gives me confidence with sharing these products. This company, being on the scientific advisory board, I get to see the rigmarole that our products go through to get to the point where they actually make it to something that we sell, right? But it's really strict. It's really rigorous. And that there's just confidence when you have studies, patents, results, right? We go through the same process with all of our products. And it makes it so much easier for me to share these products. But I cannot, and I repeat, cannot do this alone, right? One by one, I can impact people. But if I can have one other voice that's willing to tell another person, to tell another person, to tell another person, that's where impact really happens. And I was just reminded of this the other day, even in the chiropractic industry, right? That if I pass away, my husband has 30 days to sell my practice, or the value of it cuts in half. And
Mm.
at 90 days, it's worth only 25%. So basically, what I spend my entire life building, it's it's all worth nothing. And who in that time frame wants to worry about selling a business, right? But what am I going to leave behind for my family, for my husband, for my kids? What would happen to me if something happened to my husband? Would I be able to support our 5 kids? Could I make my ends meet, right? And or how many people do you know that are living month to month? I know one kind of stress that people don't like to talk about, or it's considered a little bit more taboo, is financial stress. But the average person, the average American, there's 75% of Americans are stressed. And 90% of that stress is from finances, you guys. So it
Mm.
may be weird for me to start talking to you about finance, but I just want to say $500 a month can make a big difference for someone. It can make a car payment, a house payment. It could pay for their groceries. It could provide for, I remember one of my mentors when she first started, she just wanted the ability to be able to buy her son a pair of tennis shoes that he picked out and not have to pick from the sale rack, right? But maybe it's you want to be able to pay for your house payment. Maybe you want to leave a legacy for your children after you pass. You know what? That's all up to you. But LifeVantage is a vehicle to do whatever it is that you choose. And for me, this is a way to make a big impact, much bigger than I was making one on one in my practice. So we are leading the way in activation, a cutting edge technology. We are the only company that is talking activation, that is doing activation on a cellular level. The only one. There are thousands of supplement companies. There's only 60,000 US consultants right now. 60,000. And we're opening in more and more countries as we go. So you could have a global, worldwide business. We're headquartered in Utah. We are debt free, publicly traded on the NASDAQ. So that's one thing that's really, really key too, is you're not going to see in private companies, the company can just change whatever they're doing without you knowing. It can be secret. So this is publicly traded. You're going to know everything that's happening before it happens. Again, publicly traded and debt free. Those are two huge, huge things. Also, enhanced compensation plan for generations of entrepreneurs. If you just want to share products, you can do that in an affiliate style way where you're just sharing products. People are buying the products. That's the only thing that happens. The other option you can have is by building a team, by doing this with a team, reaching up to your mentors to help you as you're sharing the message. And they teach you how to teach people, how to teach people, how to teach people. And it just keeps going and going and going. And the beautiful thing about that is you don't have to have a doctorate to do this. In fact, I'm well aware that there are people making way more money than me in this company that don't have doctorates. So it's not always about your education level. It's about your desires, your hunger, your passion, your belief, and what you're willing to do to make that happen. But it's leveraged income again, having that asset to pass down for generation to generation. It's a turnkey business. The most you can invest is $1,000. The most. I wish, and that is the products that you're going to be taking. Because if you're going to be selling something and you're me, you want to have taken it. You want to know, like, what did that do in my body? Like, I know there are some people that can sell ice to Eskimos, right? We're not doing that here. We are literally selling something that could change someone's health for the rest of their life. If you can change the trajectory of your health or your wealth, that is literally where lives get impacted every single time. No inventory, no assets. Everything comes directly to whoever you talk to. And you do this with your team. That's why Dr. Cece and I are doing this together today. It's not like, oh, here you go. Here's your business. Good luck. You want to know what happened when I started my chiropractic business? It was that graduate from school and the school of hard knocks, go figure it out, you know? And it's blood, sweat, and tears that way. Here we have a simple system we plug you into. It's your personality, it's your voice, it's the way you desire to do it, but you have this simple structure to do it and to do it with your team. And then it's culture and community. I am doing life with people I desire to be around, that push me to be a better person. When I first learned about network marketing, all I knew about it was to avoid it. And it was all based on, like, Uncle Sally's cousin's sister who thought that network marketing was bad. I mean, it really had nothing to do with solid information. And when done right, this is the most beautiful industry I have yet to experience. So I am so glad that you are here. I want to show you just one more thing, this income disclosure statement from last year. And I want you to look at this average monthly commissions at paid rank. It's a lot of details, but I want to just ask you, like, what would $500 a month extra do for you? How about 934? Or how about 3,400? Or at the executive ranks of the company, 14,489. If you were bringing that in each month, what would be different in your life? And what are you willing to do to get to whatever it is that you desire? And it's possible here. It's so possible here. And when what your check is a direct reflection of the lives that you are impacting. So I just want to encourage you here. We're going to close up, and I just want you to get back to whoever invited you here and tell them one of three things. One, you're interested in the products. You want to figure out what activation products are going to be best suit your needs, solve your problems. Or two, you're interested in the products, but you also want to take a look into this business because I didn't give you very much information yet, right? So you want to dive into that business part again. Or three, this really isn't for you, but you know someone who could benefit. So 1, 2, 3, get back to whoever invited you to watch this and let them know where you stand. And I just want to thank you again for coming here tonight to listen to us.